Well, welcome to my little attempt at Vlogmas here on the programme. Just a few videos to update you on my happenings over the course of December leading up to Christmas. As you can see, winter has well and truly started here on the Isle of Arran. It's a lovely, beautiful sight to wake up to this morning. And today I'm out up at Sannox. We've got a day of worship and meeting together up there, and then I'm sure later on it will be Christmas tree putting up at home. We decorate early at home, and then just some preparation for tomorrow, and of course some knitting. So I'm up at Sannox now, and obviously I can't show you everyone when they're here. Don't have permission to video everyone, but we're all set up for a little gathering. People gather from across the island on the first Saturday of the month. We get together just to sing, to meet up with each other, to hear a message to inspire us and keep us going. And in that way, Sannox performs its little duty of serving the folks here on the island. So I'll catch you later. Well, come away in. That was the briefest attempts at getting you outside the house. To be perfectly honest, although I'm about and here and there all through the day, it's often just a big rush of being everywhere. But here I am, it's early evening, and later on I'm heading out to choir practice. We're busy getting ready for a Christmas service that we're singing in. Also happens to be a Christmas service that I'm leading and playing in the brass band in, and all that sort of stuff, but I do enjoy the choir. But welcome in. As you can see, we're already in Christmas mode here at the Manse, and we often put our Christmas tree up early for no particular reason other than, you know, we like to enjoy Christmas. And to be perfectly honest, in these Northern Hemisphere times, reasonably far up the United Kingdom, and especially on the island, we've got a lot of darkness. So a little bit of sparkle and light around the place does just help a little bit. And so just a few moments pause. The girls are out. My oldest daughter's at work. The youngest one's gone swimming, and Tracy has taken her to her swimming lessons. So just a few moments to catch up with you on this first of my, little Adventy type videos. I did promise you that I'm not going to be here every day. You'll be quite glad of that. I'm quite glad of that. But I'm here for now, and I'm working on the socks I was working on in the last extra stitch. These are the socks by the Crazy Sock Lady on a Regia yarn, and I've only just turned the heel, which I've since learned is an eye of partridge heel, where you slip one stitch and knit one all the way across, and that gives it a nice good thick padding at the heel. But I'm knitting away on these. The potential is that they will be someone's Christmas present. I won't say who exactly, but that is pretty much where they are destined. And so I've just got the foot section and the toes, of course, and then I'll give them a little wash and a little block of socks. I mean, with socks, you don't really need to block socks, do you? The foot will do that perfectly well. So that's what I'm working on in terms of the knitting on a more regular basis, basically because it's a bit of a holiday knit. However, I'm quite pleased with myself. If one can allow oneself to be pleased with oneself, I'm quite pleased with myself, because you may remember a few episodes ago me saying that I was starting my way through the mini Nordic sweaters by Arne and Carlos. I think it was their Advent project last year, 2022, no, it must have been 2021, because this is the third Christmas that I've been working on them, and I've only just completed my third jumper. But the goal this year is to complete 4, because then I'll figure that I have enough for each of the 4 Sundays in Advent. And if that's all I ever do, that'll be okay. Anything more than that will both be a bonus and a burden, because if you've got 6, then you really have to go to 24. If you've got 4, you could stop there and be quite content. So I want to show you the 4 and say a little bit about the ones that I've done so far. And don't worry, I won't bore you with Advent sweaters for the rest of this little Advent video series, however long and however many I managed to make. But the first one, there you go, that's number 1. I think it's quite sweet. And on this one, I was definitely in the practice stage. I think when I did this over 2 years ago, I didn't even know how to do raglan. So as you can see, the raglan joins, etc., are a bit interesting. But however, I am very pleased with this. Now this yarn is some lovely woolly yarn. Oh, it's so sheepy. It's a yarn by a chap up in Caithness in Scotland, and it just so happens that his yarn business is called Caithness Yarns. I think he has his own sheep and gets fleeces from sheep round about there up in the north. And we have an affinity with Caithness. We lived up there, very far north of Scotland for a year. So that's Advent sweater number 1. I was quite impressed by it, you know. It looks impressive, so that's number 1. And number 2 is also in yarn from Caithness Yarns, and there's lovely brown with some lovely snow flaky patterns and with a little Nordic crosses there. And I am aware how much I say lovely. It's a good word, what can I say? But this lovely sweater is in a nice brown, nice sort of rustic colours. And by this time, I think my raglans are a bit better, bearing in mind that this was about a year later than I did that one. So, second one. Now, with the third one, this is the one that I have just finished because I cast it on probably last Christmas, and I saw them sort of lolling about in the knitting bag and I thought, no, I really, really must get on with those. So I had already, oh, there we are. Now this is in a different yarn. This white is the Saddleworth. No, it's not actually. Both of these yarns are a sort of country tweed surdar, and I'll say more about that in a minute. But as you see, I did some nice red along with the cream, and of course the number 3 because that's for the 3rd Sunday in Advent. And I think my raglans on these little sweaters have significantly improved. Now I haven't. It says in the pattern to do lots of extra inchage. That's not a thing, is it? Anyway, lots of extra knitting at the collar with the idea that you then roll it over as a sort of, you know, whatever that's called, that kind of neck. But I think I like them just like that because by the time you've done all this colour work, and it is really, really fiddly, I think that's perfectly acceptable. Don't you think? And look, it almost fits. Well, it certainly fits my beard, doesn't it? So now this Surdar country tweed yarn, I think it was actually quite difficult to do something as intricate with these. The wool is strange. I don't know if it's not 100% natural fibre at all. I think there's maybe a little bit of something in it. But it's a very soft yarn, and when you pull it, it doesn't sort of just snap off and make a clean break. The fibres sort of tease out, and you get this long stretch. So it's very soft and weird, and that made the knitting process quite a challenge, especially when you're trying to get round the arms and change needles with these on these very small sleeves. So none of these have been blocked yet, but there they are nevertheless. Now, as I say, when I get myself organised with those 3, the plan is that they are going to be, at least for the foreseeable, they are going to be little Nordic sweaters for the 4 Sundays in Advent, and maybe we will put some sweets in there, or maybe little sentences, or little, I don't know. We'll put something in there and use it as part of our Advent tradition going forward. But that's them for now. I have the intention that I will complete number 4 by Christmas this year, because Christmas Eve is the 4th Sunday in Advent this year. So that's the aim. Now, once I can get myself organised and find a way to I'm planning to make little coat hangers so that you can just go inside the arm and hold the little sweaters, but not stretch it like my fingers. hold the little sweaters there, and just up behind me here, on the window, but that's the stairs down there that goes down to the front door. They will go up there, and I'll show you that at some point when I get them up. And hopefully this year, for the first 4 Sundays in Advent, that's what we'll have. So that's the aim as far as that's concerned. So I've got one of those to knit. Now the other knitting, somebody asked me the other day about how my Dustland sweater is going. Well, you ready for confession time? The Dustland sweater is not going very far at all. Basically because I came to a spot where I'd run out of yarn. And I'm due to add another ball, but that just happened to come at a particularly busy time, and so I haven't got round to the stage of adding another ball and doing any more. So as you can see, it looks very sort of like cape-like at the moment. It looks a bit, you know. Anyway, so that's where that is. There's a little sort of woolly end there, just on the end of the needles. That's the end of that particular ball, and it's just waiting to have a little friend, a little yarny ball friend, added to it, and then I will get on with that. But whether that's during December, whether it's during Advent or not, I don't know, because I think the priority has to be the Nordic sweaters. I'll come back to the Dustland. So to say, things are going swimmingly during this Advent. It's not too busy, it's just a nice pace. This week, got lots of bits of business going on up at Sannox Christian Centre. We're getting ready for our retreat programme for next year, just sorting out some details. I'm also preparing Christmas carol services and various things like that, so trying to get organised and get everyone involved. But thankfully, able to find plenty of quiet time just to be still and just to enjoy this season of Advent. I find that Advent is that perfect lead up to Christmas, because if you can manage it, it's an opportunity just to step back in the midst of the darkness which is all around us here and just reflect. And this little episode, I said to you before that I was thinking about sharing some poems. And the poem that I'm going to share today is actually just a little paragraph long, and it's actually a poem that I wrote. I wrote it some years ago, and I wrote it on one particular winter morning when the sun is particularly low in the sky. I think I was taking the children to school or something like that, but it was such a beautiful, bright, sunny morning that it was just glorious. And afterwards, I'd gone for a coffee, was just reflecting on that commute, and I just wrote this simple little paragraph. And it doesn't particularly have a name, but it has a little description as a name. And the little description is this: on seeing the sun this morning, a wee poetic verse. You ready for it? The golden orb sun in the steel blue sky on a midwinter morning, it feels like July. Its brilliance is blinding, proclaims to us all that there's hope in the darkness after all. Not much of a poet, really, but there was just something about the beauty of that sun shining in that really cold blue sky, and in the midst of the bleakness of what winter can sometimes be like, the sun's still there, tantalising, reminding us of warmer days and reminding us the hope of the return of those warmer days. And when reading it early, I just thought that's an Advent message, because that's what we look forward to and anticipate as those who follow Jesus and are looking for that return of the sun, not just physically in our atmosphere as the winter sun turns into eventually the summer sun, but we live in that expectation as Christians that Christ has come, but Christ will come again. There will be a warming, there will be a return, there will be a renewal with all that brings. So I hope your Advent, your December is going well. I hope your knitting is going well. And it's good to catch up with you just with these few moments in this first week of Advent. Great to see you. We'll see you again very soon. Take care. Goodbye.